When we think about what we're grateful for, it gives us some insight into what's most important to us in our lives, what our priorities are. So it's a good idea, I think, especially as we approach Easter Sunday, 2023. I'm recording this actually on Good Friday of 2023. It's a good idea to reflect on what we are grateful for. Maybe it's easy to do that, maybe not so much. If it's a struggle, let me suggest that maybe we're envious of others, perhaps, or frustrated over a disappointment of some kind. Something is standing in the way of helping us see what it is in our lives that bring us joy and for which we can be truly grateful. People of faith probably have an easier time with this unless they're struggling with their faith, in which time they may find it a challenge to their faith because they find it's difficult to be grateful for anything as they focus instead on those things that are in the way of that, their fears, their challenges, their disappointments, whatever that might be. We'll touch on that stuff on another time, but for now, let's focus on the positive. What are we grateful for? Again, a reflection, I think, on the priorities, what it is that's most important in our lives. If we focus on material things exclusively or primarily, it may be easy to be grateful if we happen to be successful, if we have a lot of money, if we have all the things that we want to buy. We can be grateful for our success. And maybe for the time being, at least, that's enough. But let's suggest for a minute that in spite of all that, we're still not fully happy. And we find it hard to be grateful because we've failed perhaps to dig deeper into those intangibles that really do define for people, I think, who are joyous and well balanced, their true grounds for happiness and contentment. Again, if you are a person of faith, it's easier perhaps to recognize those important elements of gratitude. And I invite you to do that. If we find it hard to be grateful, perhaps it's because we're too focused on ourselves inwardly rather than focusing on what our lives mean to other people, what they mean to us. If we can put ourselves into that mindset for a moment, I think the grounds for gratitude grow exponentially. We suddenly see very clearly what it is that we're most grateful for. For me, it's relatively easy. Almost 45 years married, I am grateful for a wife who has loved me through thick and thin and continues to do that in times of sickness and in health. I hope she feels the same way because we certainly are challenged by illness at the present time, or if not illness, chronic disease, cancer specifically, which is very frightening. We're both dealing with it, and we're having to find grounds for gratitude in spite of that. It's not that hard to find things to be grateful for because it is, in my case, Anne, for whom I'm grateful. A woman of God, a good woman who I know loves me and whose head is on straight, who I know puts her priorities where they ought to be. Those intangible gifts from God, starting with and really based on the foundation of love that makes me grateful to have her in my life, and I hope truly the other way around. We have children. We have in-laws, so that's additional children, and we have grandchildren. We have been blessed with many friends around us here in the Atlanta area and around the country and around the world. All of that makes us grateful too. I offer this to you not to brag, but really simply to stimulate your own thinking. If there's something that's really bothering you, that you feel you can't find the positive in your life, perhaps it is because you are being too inwardly focused. There's a time for introspection, to be sure, but in this instance, think beyond your disappointments to those things that, in spite of those disappointments, bring you joy, give you grounds for gratitude. Focus on those today. If again you are a person of faith as we move into the Easter weekend, we have a great deal to be grateful for in the sacrifice of Jesus Christ and his resurrection. If your faith lies outside of that tradition, nonetheless, look to the divine, however you might define the divinity, and the love that is possible, if not demonstrable, in your life right now. It may be very much in front of you, or perhaps a bit more distant. Anywhere it might be, as long as there is hope, there is grounds for gratitude, and I hope and pray that you'll find it, not just today and this weekend, but always. Thank you.